Okay, welcome to this class. Today, our aim is how can understanding the difference between subjective and objective claims help writers introduce and support argumentative claims? So, before we go over the new definitions, let's just there'll be some definitions we need to review. So, a claim. Let's see, what is a claim? I would call on someone to answer this at this point. But a claim is basically something you're saying. Okay. Let's literature definition. Definition of a claim is in literature is a statement that asserts something to be true. It can be factual or a judgment about something. Some claims have no logical support. They can be accusations. Claims also be made in abstract ways, art and poetry. A claim comes from the Latin word clamare, which means to cry out or to shout. So it's basically you're saying something is true, is a claim. Okay? Claim also can be defined as to claim something. I believe, come and claim your prize, when you win something, okay? But what we're using the definition in the literature where you're saying that this is true, okay? And so objective information is something, there's an objective claim, does not depend on opinion or perspective. Now, perspective is basically, we've gone over that before, but it's basically how you see something, okay? So often perspective is looked at, the first definition is going to come in terms of drawing, like the view, because let's just say perspective, New York City, right? So if you look at New York City from the street, it looks big. It looks so intimidating. But if you look at it from a bird's eye view, okay, so let's see, where is that example of here? From here, it looks not as big. It still looks pretty big, but it's a different way of looking at things. And perspective also is the different way of looking at things. So let's look at these examples. So 2 plus 2 is 4. Chicken has more protein than ice cream. Mr. Oleske is 5'9". These are all objective claims. They're just objective. There's no opinion. It doesn't matter what you think about me. 5'9". There's nothing that'll make. I mean, I guess as I get older, I'll get a little shorter. And if I were younger, I could potentially get taller. So you have a height, and whatever height you are, you're probably going to get taller. I unfortunately will not get taller. Okay, so these are, your opinion about me doesn't change, no matter what you think. If you think, oh, he's a great teacher, so he might be 6 foot tall. No, that's not going to make it a difference. Oh, chicken, I love Popeye, so chicken has or I don't like Popeye, so that doesn't have protein. It doesn't matter what you think, how much protein is in there is a fact. And 2 plus 2 will be 4, no matter how much you might want it to be 5, it'll be 4, no matter what. Now, subjective information is the opposite. One last thing. An objective, it's good to look at it like an object, like a jar. This jar holds, does it say 24 ounces, okay? That's, no matter what, it'll always hold 24 ounces. Now I could think that's a lot, or I could say that's not a lot, depending on how much you eat. That's subjective, but it's 24 ounces is how much it holds. Subjective then, is based on opinion or perspective. It is true from a certain person's point of view, but it is possible for someone to disagree. Most of what we're going to do in English is subjective. Now, it can be almost objective, but it's never full. Not a lot of things are fully objective, even if it's obvious that something's better. For example, addition is easy. Chicken tastes better than ice cream. Mr. Oleske is tall. So these are things that are obviously opinions, because addition is easy. Some people find math easy. Some people find math hard. There's varying degrees of chicken tastes better than ice cream. Most of you probably disagree with that. I enjoy savory foods more than sweet foods, but some people don't. And Mr. Oleske is tall. Obviously, compared to most 6th graders, I'm tall. But compared to most Americans, I'm slightly shorter than average. So the examples are obvious, but sometimes it's not as obvious. So let's say if we took the example of chicken is healthier than ice cream. That's a little more obvious, right? Ice cream's not very healthy. Chicken is protein. You need it. You're learning it's healthier. They tell you it's healthier. But some people definitely need calcium. If some people, well, actually, I'm looking at this. It has quite a bit of calcium. It was 3%. So ice cream does have more calcium. Might have more calcium than chicken. Let me look at this Talenti. Let's see. It has no. This one. Well, this was had no calcium because it was sorbet. But some depending on your dietary needs, some people might not digest meat very well. So it's arguable. But let's take a more extreme. Chicken is healthier than Jolly Ranchers. So let's look at here. I took a Okay, chicken. Now, you would think, oh, that's objectively true. It's definitely healthier than Jolly Ranchers. But, you could have because if you look at now, if the way we're proving it is we look at these little nutrition facts. Chicken has, no, the spinach, what does it have? So let me compare spinach, something we know is healthy, Jolly Rancher, something we know isn't healthy. So you could, people will say it's objectively healthier. And for the most part, they're true. Because it has protein, it has vitamin A, a lot of vitamin A, a lot of vitamin C, some calcium and iron. Not as much iron as you'd think, but it has a good amount of iron, but it's not as much iron as steak or something. People kind of overshoot the iron. But it also has a lot of dietary fiber. Not as much, but it has, in some cases, if someone has a damaged immune system, digestive system, or they're allergic to spinach, Jolly Ranchers will be healthier. But for the most part, so even though it's pretty much, for all intents and purposes, objectively better, technically, it's hard to make these objective statements. What is definitely objective is that spinach has more vitamins than Jolly Ranchers. Spinach has more fiber. Jolly Ranchers have a lot of processed sugars, and processed sugars do damage to the liver. The way the body digests processed sugars is not good for health. These are objective facts. So when you get a bunch of objective facts together, the subjective opinion comes closer and closer to being objective, but it'll never be 100%. Words like better. So then let's look at the statement, Mr. Oleske is tall. That's clearly an opinion. I could think of myself as tall. Now, it can get to, when I say I'm average, that starts getting closer to objective when I look at these charts. So if let's say I take a chart, right? And I was comparing myself to Yanis. Let me type his name in. There we go. Antetokounmpo. So there's this guy. If I say he's tall, that's a little more objective, right? Because you could say he's objectively tall, but then if you compared him to his teammate Dragan Bender, who's 7'1", 2 inches taller, they'd say, oh well, he's not that tall. Dragan could say, yeah, he's short, just another short dude. When it's based on opinion. Now, when do we get that to be objective? You could say it does get much more objective if we look at he's tall in comparison to the average. So when I say I'm average, what does that mean? That means I'm at this point that is the average. So the average height of Americans, this chart shows, it looks like 5'9", 5'10", but let's just say it's 5'10". So if it's 5'10", I'm slightly shorter than average, but it's not 100% objective. It's not 100% objective. There's still, but it is less than average. So objective fact is I'm within 2 inches of most American men in my height. I am not more than 2 inches shorter or more than 2 inches taller than more than 50% of Americans. That's American men. That's a fact. Saying I'm tall, there's still an opinion. Saying I'm short, that's still kind of an opinion. Saying Yanis Antetokounmpo is tall, that's still an opinion. I mean, there are people taller than him. To a giraffe, he's not tall. But I could say he's taller than 99.9% of American men. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. So you could say he's objectively tall, although technically that's still an opinion. It's still subjective, even though it's kind of obvious. So in the end, using words like tall, short, healthy, unhealthy, good, and bad will always make a statement subjective, even if it's obvious. Like spinach is healthier than. You could say spinach is objectively healthier than Jolly Ranchers, but these types of statements, there is some subjectivity, but that's more technical. People will Now people widely use this for they widely use it incorrectly in our society to say things when they're really saying. So I could objectively say, so let's say I could objectively say, what example, that the King of Gyros, the gyro stand a block away from our school, is objectively better than Arby's. Now I can't really prove that. It's an opinion. But what I can prove is how fresh the meat is, or how fresh the vegetables or spices are, how many years of experience the chef has, or if the person cooking it is a chef. The other example I did. So basically what I do is I take a subjective statement and I back it up with objective facts. And that's great. That's how you make an argumentative claim. So why does this matter? You're asking. And here's why it matters. When making an argumentative claim, you are making a subjective claim. If your argumentative claim is an objective fact, you would not need to write an essay. Okay? I won't need to write an essay supporting why America has more people than Greece. That's just a fact. The essay would be 2 sentences long. It would. Now, so let me make an argumentative claim. It's a little obvious one. Life in the USA is better than life in North Korea. North Korea is a terrible place to live. They have a dictator. People are starving. So I would make 2 reasons. America has more freedom. That's subjective. That's my opinion. America has better food. Also my opinion. Now, a reason can be objective. I can restate the second and say Americans have more access to nutritious food than North Koreans. That basically can be measured. We can see how much food is in the grocery stores, how much food there is per person, how much money each person has, and we can kind of prove that we have more access to food. So the reasons can be objective as well, but often they're subjective. So let's say America has more freedom than North Korea. That's obvious. But it's still subjective. Do we need to get objective facts? Like freedom of speech is guaranteed by the American Constitution. That's an objective fact. It's written in the Constitution. It's not guaranteed in North Korea. That's also objective. We can look at how trials happen there, and we have evidence that they don't have freedom of speech. Americans have the right to a trial in front of a jury of other American citizens. North Koreans do not. Also, that's a fact that we could. That's a true fact. So by North Koreans are not allowed to watch movies or TV shows that the government doesn't agree with. American adults are pretty much allowed to watch any movie they want or read any book they want, except for, instruction manuals on how to make a nuclear bomb would probably be restricted. But so these are all facts. You can see it, you could look it up. So by taking these objective facts, we essentially prove the subjective statement that America has more freedom. Okay, and I've just looked up. I just also went over the facts for the food. So that's and that's how an argumentative claim. So in an argumentative claim, when you make an argumentative essay, you claim something that's subjective, and then you use subjective or objective reasons, but then you back it up eventually with objective facts. If every part of your claim, of your essay, is subjective, it's much easier to argue against it, because people could just say, well, that's just your opinion. And so then we're all going to, on page 5 of this document, we're going to just make some things, answer these questions, whether it's objective or not. PewDiePie is more fun to watch than T-Series. Is that objective or subjective? Then you make an objective statement about yourself, and a subjective statement about yourself. And also, we're going to do it about your school. I'm going to edit that right now. School. Okay. Great job. Anyway, I hope you have a great day. Subjectively, it would be a great day. You cannot have an objectively great day, but I hope you have a great day. Bye.